Okay, this is a video that's starting again with the phrase okay. Part 2 of the Hexagon Herringbone turned 3D. This is the 3D. This is the achievement we want to get at, and also how to turn this into a higher instance. We want to up the resolution. This is a concept that's very important and I work with it a lot. It's pretty much just augmenting the resolution of the thing. So we got our pattern. Now what we want is to have more pattern. So the way we can go about it is pretty much, well, the first thing that comes to me when I want to up a pattern is I could just go for half, right? Because I have these lines that I want to zigzag. So I can ask myself, where can I find more of these lines? So an easy way to do more pattern lines is just to fold onto themselves and just up the resolution by half. Now sometimes there are certain references, we're going to go for halves, but I have to say that sometimes there are references which are, either not obvious or actually very obvious and you just miss them, that can divide the paper in other ways besides the half. So for instance, in the hexagon or the equilateral triangle, there are clear references for thirds. There are ways of dividing each of these into thirds instead of halves. And that has certain power to it because it adds the value of threes into the pattern. So instead of going 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on, you can maybe go 2, 6, 12, 24, 48. So you see how the numbers change, and so with a different number you get a different result, you get a different sort of potential to the pattern. So sometimes it's better to have half, sometimes it's better to have threes, but although that we're working with tessellations of this nature, it sometimes doesn't make a difference, or any significant difference at least, because we're working within a rectangle, because the pattern is sort of like just the same iteration of the same thing, so it really might be just an aesthetic thing. But if you think about it, there also could be a significant difference within the way that these sort of look. So I find that either more is more, in fact, or that less is more. So sometimes it's better to have bigger pieces than it is to have more pieces, but it really depends. So right now we're just going through that ordeal of going to halves, so we're just upping the resolution. So we're really just taking it to the next level. This could take as much as making the motif. And also I would like to sort of point out that the example in the previous video is not the most cohesive example of the motif. There could be another way of putting it which places it more coherently, more tightly. So I've just finished watching Twin Peaks, and I'm not gonna ruin it or nothing. I don't think the people who are watching are even into Twin Peaks, but the whole idea of the series is just like the battle of evil versus good. And I don't want to say light versus dark because I don't think that's very significant. Like light and darkness are not actually fighting. The good and evil are, and then I'm thinking that maybe good people think themselves to be bad and bad people think themselves to be good sometimes. So maybe it's better to think yourself bad in order to be good. Maybe it's better not to think about it at all. So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it real. Just going to keep it within. I'm not going to go for another division. But I'm going to notice that the way that I put these lines in, some of them are going to have to change. So for instance, here this seems to be correct, the mountains. But then down here, these seem to be not incorrect, but just they need to go through some change. And yeah, no, living in Mexico, you get a lot of that good versus evil kind of situation happening all around, all the time. Whether you're in it or not, whether you want to or not. Maybe that's all over the world, right? Maybe you could say that about any country, any place. where you're sort of involved, because you go in as a tourist and everything seems nice, the smells are new, the food is tasty, everyone sort of wants your money or your appreciation, so they're really extra super nice. But when you're a resident, when you're a local, when people know you and you know them, you sort of get a feel for the actual underbelly of the thing. So I don't know whether people are good or bad or evil, like in nature, I don't know. But there is something to us and our eyes that we can look at each other's eyes and then sort of see in them what we're about. So if someone's lying to you, you can tell by their eyes. If someone's being honest, you can also tell. Like for instance, I just watched a video yesterday of Trump saying that he takes the hydroxychloroquine or that stuff. And I think I see in his face like he's lying, like he just like sort of made it up on the spot, going like, I take it, just like his face, like he has a very dishonest look about him. He just pulled it out of nowhere just to see the reaction and get a feel for it, and just like, hey, this is news, like, you know, that guy's just a title maker, like he just makes, you know, makes newspapers print out stuff. I mean, just the media, not a puppet, but he's just a media sort of fanfare sort of person. And who am I to talk about politics? But I'm just saying that there's something to the eyes, see? Something about the eyes that sort of tells it like it is. And it's that there's white in them. The white of the eyes can tell you what people are looking at. And then based on what they're looking at, you can sort of infer what they're thinking about. Because what they pay attention to is going to manifest itself in their thoughts and their priorities. Maybe you could even like deduce their plan by looking at their eyes, right? So it's one of the things about playing chess too. When you're playing face to face, you can get a feel, but like beyond looking at their face, you get a feel for the other character by what he's looking at. So half of the game is looking at the game, but the other half is looking at the player, like at your opponent. Not focusing on it, not like over focusing on it. Maybe that's rude, but there's no rule that says you can't look at the opponent. And there might be some clues to the game within. So I don't know. That's what I want to preface everything. I don't know. I just know how to fold and talk for long periods of time about seemingly unimportant issues. Everything seems unimportant in the grand scale. Like after a week, some new stuff comes along and you sort of either don't care anymore or find something else to care. Yeah, Spanish in Mexico says, I always remember it. I always tell it to people whenever I can, but in Spanish it's clavo saca clavo. Pretty much directly translates to a nail takes out a nail. See the zigzags we talked about in the past video, the motif. We have these lines that go valleys. These lines go valley. And then these lines go mountain. So I have some lines drawn in from the past video, which you should check out. That's part 1 of this thing. You probably already did, but just making sure. But again, like I should respect the making of this thing. Like, you know, it says part 2 in the title. So it's interesting to sort of write on your origami designs which lines are valleys and which are mountains. You can sort of see the pattern sometimes. Like for instance, if I keep writing in all the valleys, I'm also going to have to add this one. I'm going to have to take away this. It's from the past. It's also a valley. So you can see that it's, I don't know, it's fun like to sort of see the rhombuses that emerge. You can see the rhombi. So again, our pattern that we're going to work with involves us squashing each of these. Like we need to squash them. See, some lines are already there. Like for instance, we have half of a squash here. We just need the line that goes through it. So we can sort of anticipate. So instead of actually squashing each of these, we can say like, oh well, I know where the fold is going to go. Let's see if I can find a nice relationship to it. And that's the cool thing about the hexagon, it's full of nice relationships. So next for nice relationship, I want to carve out these triangles. See? Now these triangles are within the rhombus. So this is a rhombi of the pattern. You know, they're all like stacked up like that in rivets. And then the triangle is pretty much made up of these. and it sort of cuts in between. And then this sort of gets up there, right? But see, we want the triangle. So in this one, we don't have the triangle. So that's what this fold is. This fold I'm doing right now, this is a triangle. And it matches really nicely. If you use a different sort of resolution on yours, just keep an eye out for the motifs. The motifs. See the pattern, see the areas that make the pattern. And then duplicate it, spread it, make it happen. See? So now if we return to our previous setting, you'll even see that these are interacting very nicely with the other pattern. There's a lot of maybe opportunity here. You can see that there's also this ribbon that's sort of starting to emerge within our lines that we have. So it's not only this sort of Mukarna effect that we're gonna get here, but also a possibility of finding something else. Something else we may have not seen before. And that's very important. That's very important to keep an eye out for. Things that we haven't seen before. And that's what's also nice and cool about sharing designs with people. That if you sort of give them enough space, they'll find something new with it. And origami is one of the more areas of art that allows for intervention by other artists. Because in origami, you depend on other origami artists doing your work in order to get recognition that it's a good design and fun to do. Because it's going to happen one or two ways. Either it's going to be fun for people to fold and they're going to take up the challenge of folding it and do it in their homes, or it's a great design to teach and people are going to take to teaching it to people. So it requires the ability to translate into a fun sort of exercise. So that becomes the main objective for the origami artist, to sort of draw up these exercises for other people. So you can sort of start to see the effect we're going for. So we have this triangle that's happening right here, these three triangles, well 4 if you count these two halves on either side. But then it's going to happen underneath as well. So at this point we're going to have another triangle there. So another triangle is going to have to go right through there. I have so much work to do, man, it's not even funny. I'm making these videos because you know what? This is part of the job too. This is part of the productivity as well. Even though, you know, I get maybe 10 views per video, it's whatever, you know, it's fine. Like, I don't do it for the views, it's just to get it out there because there's this virus out there that's killing people and hurting people. And two things are going through my brain. Either one, I'm gonna die and I better do this now before I don't get the chance because I'm very dramatic like that. And the other thing I'm thinking is like, well, there are people that might like what I'm doing who are going to die. And maybe I would have, you know, if I've only gotten around to doing these before, maybe I would have gotten a chance to actually shown this to them, like get them to experience it. Because that's one of the things about life, like you either do it or you didn't. And so that's also a big motivator, believe it or not. I guess I'm dark like that, or I'm sort of negative like that, but also it's sort of propelled me to take making videos a little bit more seriously. But I don't like the idea of sort of succumbing to this, like, if you don't have a large following, then you're not successful, or like you are successful based on the following you have. Like, sure, that sounds legit because more people sort of gravitate towards you, but I feel that if you just focus on that, you sort of miss the point of making beautiful things, which is to share, which is to grow and learn. And I don't know, like, maybe that's some reason why people are motivated to try crafts, to try to get recognition. And that's not something that we're going to get rid of today, and that's not something that's new. That's not something pertaining to social media exclusively. That's maybe part of human nature. Maybe that's something in people that just wants, yeah, to be loved, to be liked. Maybe that's the same thing that pushes people to drugs and addiction. This space inside that just needs activity, but like specific activity, very rewarding activity, very satisfying and sort of stimulating activity. Or you think, right? You think that would be what's what, but you know, it's not always. So see, for instance, here I'm noticing that I folded the lines more, like it's more pronounced of the strips, the ribbons here, this. But that's not the full pattern. And another way of looking at it is like if I focus on just this rectangle that I have here, I can see that when my triangle rises, there's a dip. there's a dip there. So if this triangle is rising, I need the dip. I need the place where this goes in. So that means that here there's got to be this fold. No, it's complete. So you gotta keep an eye out for how you do the motif. So again, the way I'm doing it, you could just keep spreading it, right? So instead of like actually doing it individually, you could just go all the way and avoid all this time to sort of think about it. And that's cool too, you know, you can do whatever you want. I got my triangles, I got them crushing. And so I think I talked about this in another video, perhaps. I don't remember. I say so much stuff, but I watched one of these videos I did for the first time last week, or this week. Well, this weekend, rather. And what I found was that I didn't work well in mute, and that's something that I wanted to achieve. I wanted the video to be understandable here, as though it were muted. So if I were someone that didn't like the way I spoke, or didn't like the topics I was covering, it's just like, wait, dude, I just care about the folds, man. Then I would like to have an option for them. But sometimes I gotta do 2 videos because I'm from Mexico, and so people where I'm from speak Spanish mostly. Even though we're close to the border, we're in northeast Mexico, there's still a lot of people that don't speak English, and that's fine. They shouldn't learn a whole new language just to learn how to fold a piece of paper. And there's a whole market, not a market, but like a whole audience, a whole group of people that is here that speak Spanish and like to fold. Like there's an enormous following of folders in Argentina, and Mexico and Spain. So it's not like you gotta speak English in order to meet your crowd, although it does help. But like, you look at Joe Nakashima, he doesn't even speak, and he's like the best origami YouTuber out there, right? If you don't know his channel, you probably do. Like if you're into origami, you know Joe Nakashima. Like that guy is just above and beyond anything or anyone else right now. Many ways to sort of crunch these. A lot of fun. But we're focusing on the triangles. So this approach I'm doing is not very, it's not very sort of origami tradition. I avoided the squash that we looked at in the past video. But that's fine, you know, there's no rules per se, but there are sort of like these fun methods of achieving results, and it's sort of the origami tradition to try to find those fun methods, because that's what people want. People want to have fun and enjoy the process, and sometimes going through tessellations and grids, maybe that's not always so fun. Maybe people look at this as more like work, and they want to see it as a game. So part of the challenge is to make this a game. But for me, it's fun to just go around clicking and clicking. And then what you want to do is get it to collapse. That's like the big thing. But it only collapses if you have the right sequence put in, the right circuit. So again, let's try going for what was easy. Let's try. So I put in my folds for the squashes, at least for the triangles. So now I'm gonna get back to the original design, which is sort of easy, just sort of clicking here and here. And then once that's set up and it's flat, then I'm going to unlock the power that I've been accumulating with all these folds, and then put that into position. And then it's sort of just a matter of popping and locking different ones to try to get the what you like, you know, what you're into. And also interesting to note is that as you go deeper, you may also take advantage. Instead of going one level deeper, you could take that extra level that you just put in and play around with the level you're at, using the lines on the next level to better inform the level you're on, if that makes sense. It's like that self-similarity in slang patterns. So we got this, right? We got this, dude. It looks nice when you draw in the lines. I must admit, I like looking at those black, so light is very sensitive to color. Maybe color sensitive to light, maybe it's both ways. So you see this happening. And see, what I want to do now is actually make it so that these can fall and fold. So right now they're gonna have to go up to accommodate the ones underneath. So up and fold, up and fold, up and fold. Now they're coming together. So I have a different setup of video now because of the Zoom classes which I give every week. Giving away free Zoom classes, people. Sign up if you're into it. And there's a webcam and a microphone that I use, but I don't use it for these YouTube videos because I find that my camera on the cell phone has better resolution than the camera on the webcam. Sounds obvious when I say it, but there's a couple of videos on the YouTube channel that I use the Zoom webcam instead of the cell phone because of the voice resolution. I thought that perhaps with the professional microphone I got, I didn't get it for the Zoom classes though. I always tell people this, like I'm bragging. I'm just very proud of it. I don't know why, but yeah, something I did that I'm proud of. But I used to be in radio. I used to love putting together a little radio show. I think that was like, not a peak, but that was like a highlight of my career, I suppose. Yeah, radio show where I would just talk and I would edit the sounds and make it work, and then I would hear it later at night to make sure that it was broadcasted correctly and it was broadcasted in full. And it was just fun, like to get my friends to come down and I would interview them. Sometimes nothing would happen. I wish I could do it again. Like I wish there's many things that, not that I would have done different, but there are many things that I would have taken more advantage of. The fact that I was on the radio, dude, and that I had complete freedom to do anything. And what I would do is I would find YouTube clips of The Simpsons in Spanish. I would extract some like key quotes and then put them between songs or between monologues. And it was just like a thing that I started to do. I would take from the movies. So this was the college radio. It wasn't like a radio station. It's like their job. This is like a college station. So it's more free form. And they had this enormous library of movies, and I would go in and I would get a movie that I wanted to see, and I would try to find some nice phrase, some nice thing, and put that in the show. So it was fun, like to go out and scout for all these sounds and noises and monologues and phrases from things. And so I got a microphone for back when, so that I could so I could sound right on the radio. I also got one of those like field recorders, like you take around with you and you record. One of those like tape recorders. It's a digital tape recorder, but there's no tape. But it is the intentional manifestation, digital manifestation of a tape recorder. So they just call it a digital tape recorder. It just saves everything to a memory card. So what I'm doing now is I'm pretty much just lining everything up in the same manner in which it was before, just putting the triangles on top of each other. Instead of them landing to the sides, or like to the top, they're just landing on each other. Although I will say that I would appreciate some feedback on this. If you think that I'm rambling, if you think that it'd be better if I don't speak about certain things or whatnot, like, what do you got to say to it though? I guess people should be just allowed to say, I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive or cause shock. I'm just telling you a story and talking about the origami, so it should be fine. But you kind of, as a performer, you sort of start to begin to question if the solution to the creative block is for audience input. Like maybe the people that are watching from afar, if they told you what was up with it, then you could update your work in order to match their standards. But that almost never works. That almost never produces satisfying results, or a result that would have you be excited about having done it. I don't know. So much work I have to do. So as an origami artist, what I get the most out of is actually just trying to make it as pure and intentional as I possibly can, and give myself the time to play around with these ideas. And that's a luxury that I don't take lightly. Like I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to play. it's a requirement to play. Like, you need to play, you need to produce from play. Like, play has to come at some result, something has to come out of that play. I mean, my family is more result oriented, I would say, but they're pretty soulless sometimes. I say that with love, but yeah, they don't care about other people very much. That's hard to say. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's the kind of thing that, you know, it just comes out of my mouth, and I listen to it, and I hear myself say, like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that. It's weird to hold people to their words when words are so flimsy, when words are, you know, you say them, and even though you've been thinking them, maybe you should think some of the things you say, although at the same time, you can't think everything you say, but like, you say it, and you hear yourself say it, and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't say that. So we got our augmented resolution, and we got a 4x4 of these triangles. And so we got on this side, now we're going to press them. Press, press, make a rung. Press, press, make a rung. Press, press, press. And so you can start to see also that, you know, the whole line becomes rungs. So now we'll do the upper one as well. Maybe the one in between will be better. Yeah, but self-doubt is no joke. The only way to defeat it is sort of by actually doing the thing that scares you. So this is my solution to this thing. You just got to keep it going, make a bigger motif. You can cut it as well, make it larger, make it smaller. But this is pretty much the intention, right? You could then, well, just for the sake of it, you can make sort of tessellation out of it. And see, I have a feeling right now that I'm about to get called for food. Because we all like to gather around for food, and it's about 2 now, so that should be the time. So either I hurry up and I avoid the inevitable scream that's going to come from the kitchen. That should go down, or I leave it in and, you know, I just keep doing what I'm doing, and if it comes, it comes, and if it doesn't, you know, God bless. I'm going to go for that because I got to have faith, I got to believe. What's cool about this one also is that you get to see, it's weird. It looks funky, it looks weird, it looks, something's up with it. And see how I'm tucking these? These get tucked back. It's only in order to hold them, but they tuck nicely into the next one, like so. This one can hold it. By friction, it's not a very good hold, but, you know, it's good enough. If you want it to actually hold, there's several ways that you can do. Here's a trick for holding. You can fold this down, so that's like almost as if you're folding that edge onto there, and then just have it be down again by friction, just because, you know, all these layers are sort of on top of each other. That sort of holds it down. I'm not big on that. It didn't work really. Like, I'm trying also to match the riff, so if it's going up, then I gotta go up. See, we have a bigger one, we could actually, like, if I had another one, we could actually have it wrap and fall into the next one. So structurally, I think this is very pleasing. It looks weird. Like, you know those pictures of people with holes in their skin, but it's like a sunflower, like those frogs that have little holes in their backs for the little baby frogs? Kind of looks like that to me. But, you know, this could look like a mukarna to some people. Maybe the idea of a mukarna is here, and it is. Because usually a mukarna is where unusual designs get made. So now just to pack it back up, let's say that, oh, I gotta go and I gotta take this with me. Just gotta take the rums down. Bop, bop. Also look at it the other way. This is why also sometimes it's good to have your lines marked. It'll help you orient yourself. I think I might be doing this the opposite way, so that's also interesting that you can sort of choose which way this thing is falling down on. Now I went by memory there, but what I mean by memory is that the paper is sort of like letting me know where it was. And all these different pops and things, like it actually can help inform further development and novel combinations. So again, something that's very interesting, if you multiply and you keep it going. It's a lot of potential. Hope you enjoy. I don't know if this actually has a name, somebody else has done it before, but hey, I just discovered it by myself by folding a lot, and you can too. And there's more to it than what I'm presenting, so I'm not even going to name it. I'm just putting it like as herringbone made 3D because that's where I got it from, right? The herringbone would be, just to be clear. If you were looking for the herringbone, like, hey, I feel gypped, you know, where's my herringbone? This is the herringbone. And we call it a hexagonal herringbone because it is located within a hexagonal grid, which we learned how to make in the past video. Let's try to play around with the combinations of it. You can hear my family start to sit down around the table, so any moment now. Or rather, maybe yeah, I've been talking to them about these classes or whatever I've been giving, so maybe they will stop the shouting for a change to respect me. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. That would be very understanding of them and probably go against what I said about them before in the video. I love my family. Like, I love them. I gotta love my family. It's good for your health to love your family. Like, no matter what. And sometimes that has several different meanings and ways of showing. It's not the Disney version of love, but you gotta love them. They gave you life, right? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you around next time, and the pencil is in the shot again. That damn pencil never gets used. Alright then, have a good day. See you around.